All right. See, this is in the spirit of the season. Okay. Can this is what?
Damn, what is that?
Can't you tell?
I can see it.
Look. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. Let me back. There we go. Okay. Now, can you tell?
Oh, you the Heisman? Okay, okay. Heisman Trophy. Okay,
Right.
okay.
See, I wasn't even when you and I talked, Coach Reed. I wasn't even thinking along the lines of the Heisman when I said, "Hey, can you set this up?" Until you said that, then I said, it's Halloween, man. Let's have a little fun with this. You understand what I'm saying? We got a Heisman Trophy candidate on. You feel me? So thought I'd do that a little bit. The little entertainment value. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Yeah. All right. Very good. All right, we'll get started. Appreciate y'all's time. Stand by for me. All right, we're going to keep things moving here on the program. We're going to say hello to two gentlemen. As a matter of fact, one gentleman, he coached 11 seasons as the head football coach at Tennessee State, known him for many, many, many years. The second gentleman, as a matter of fact, is his son. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate, Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed, and of course, Rod Reed, former head football coach at Tennessee State, former All-American, as a matter of fact, both joining us here on the program on this Halloween. Now, so for me, I'm Donal Ware. For those that don't recognize me, if you could tell, I've got the sort of the Heisman look today, since we've got a Heisman Trophy candidate on the program. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the program.
How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? What's up, Donald?
What's going on? Hey, look, let me start with you, Coach Reed. How excited are you for this young man, your son, in terms of what he's doing? This is his third season at Texas A&M. He's in the Heisman Trophy conversation. How excited are you for him?
Super excited, just by what he's done thus far. But like we always have conversations. I talk to him pretty much after every game, and he knows that the situation isn't over till it's over. It's got to finish. This is people remember what you do in November. That's the old adage that we always get. They remember what you do in November. So he understands, the brevity of what's going on. I think he has a level head on the shoulder. We always talk about, just going in and stacking good days in practice, and stacking good games and protecting football. All those things that a coach would talk to a player about, I talked to my son about, and I think he's handled it well up to this point. So hoping, wishing him continued success on the field. But, he's actually handled it as well as could be expected thus far. So, and I think he understands, the end game is to finish. They were 7-1, I want to say last year about this time. And I don't know if it was lack of focus or, injuries had a lot to do with it, but had an opportunity and they didn't capitalize on it. So now, it's his job as a leader, one of the leaders of the team, to keep the train moving in the right direction.
And for you, Marcel, I mean, look, 1,972 yards passing, 17 touchdowns on the season, 349 yards rushing, averaging 5.5 yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns. I was saying, I was hosting another radio show a couple of weeks ago, and I'm saying, well, why aren't we talking more about Texas A&M? And that was a couple of weeks ago. We actually did our Heisman rankings at that time. I, of course, had you in the top 5, certainly at that time. I just want to kind of get your thoughts. Why do you feel like the Aggies are talked about enough? Why aren't we talking about the Aggies enough? Or do you feel like it's, the talk is what it is?
I don't think we're being talked about enough, but that's not really in my control. And I think a lot of people are afraid to kind of be all in on the Aggies, but it doesn't really matter to us because we're all in on each other and what we're trying to accomplish. So not too worried about it, but I think a lot of people are gonna understand that we're a real team and we're gonna be a contender. But we just got to stay focused and do what we're supposed to do these next few weeks. Because like my dad said, we've been in the situation before. Only one loss difference from this year and last year, but we got to stay focused and try to finish out this season the right way because everything that we want is in front of us. We just have to go take it.
And Marcel, before I go back to your dad, your thoughts on this season? I mean, look, you guys are undefeated. I threw the numbers out there, some solid numbers. Just your thoughts, two things on how the Aggie season is to this point, and then how you've played so far.
I think our season's been going well, obviously, and I feel like we still haven't played a full 4 quarters. I think we're getting there, but as a team, we still haven't played a full 4 quarters. You know, earlier in the season, it's like we played the first quarter really well, started hot. Second and third quarter, we died down, then have to finish in the fourth. And then as we got towards the middle, we've been playing some, really good first quarter games. Second quarter dies down, but then we come back in the second half and we're playing tremendous. And we just have to figure out a way to play, a full game of Texas A&M football. And, that's what we talk about all the time in practice. And it starts in practice. So we just have to bring that energy every single day. And, it should show up on Saturdays. As for myself, I think that, I've done not everything, but I've gotten close to doing everything that I've talked about doing. And, there's still a lot of room to grow. But like I said, I'm still going to go into practice and continue to be my best self and try to put my team in the best position to get wins on Saturdays.
That's the voice of Marcel Reed, and of course, the one and only Coach Rod Reed, who's joined us for many years, as they both join us right here on the program. Coach Reed, for you, because I've watched your social media, like you've really been up on that, particularly as your children in particular right here. Marcel has really come along the last several years as you've kind of watched him grow and so forth. Just speak to, because you and your wife, family are at every single football game. So just kind of talk about that and, sort of how you've stepped away, at least from coaching in football. I know you want to get back into it, but right now you're focusing not only on what Marcel is doing, but what your children are doing as a whole.
Yeah, my daughter, it's kind of funny. She's the assistant director of on-campus recruiting at LSU. So we had kind of a sibling rivalry down there last week. But, deep down inside, I know who she was pulling for, but she also had a job to do down there, in recruiting. But it's been fun to watch. I try to I'm glad that we're able to be at all of his games with him, especially being so far away from home. Yeah, I have family down there. My mom, my sisters, they're down there, but it's nothing like getting to see him on a Friday night for 30, 45 minutes, and family time that they have on Friday nights, and then moving on and watching them play. And, not coaching right now is kind of I would say, a blessing in disguise that I was able to step away after doing it for so long, to be able to kind of support him in his journey. And it's been nothing but incredible, watching my kids doing what they're doing in the game of football, so to speak. I didn't expect that from my daughter, but, she's kind of taking the bulls by the horn. She's worked at Alabama for Coach Saban. She's worked at Missouri, and now she's at LSU doing great things. So I'm really happy about that, but I'm really excited about Marcel and the way he works, the way he progresses, the way he handles himself on and off the field. I think that's huge. And I think he's been a good role model for other kids, kind of following his footsteps. And hopefully he'll continue that trend and do things the right way and continue to progress as a player. And I think, I tell him all the time, there's two things that happen in practice every day. You either get better or you get worse. So always work on stacking good days in practice and putting your best foot forward and being the leader that position commands.
No doubt about it. For you, Marcel, how do you, in your dad mentioned it a little bit earlier in terms of being grounded. How do you handle all of this, all of the hype? I mean, look, you're playing some great football. Texas A&M is doing extremely well. You're in the Heisman talk right now, more so. If people are into odds, your odds have gone up in terms of that. How are you handling all of
I really just, it's me being so competitive. I think I always grew up playing this game, wanting to win. And I think if you played any sport, you play it to win and compete. So, like, I didn't come into college thinking I was going to you know, make a lot of money from NIL, and being a college football player. Wasn't always expecting, high accolades. That's not what's on my mind. My mind was just on, going and getting better and being able to win and be a part of a team that's going to win and be successful. So I guess that's really how I stay grounded. I always think about kind of the next week, after we get the job done, think about what's coming up next week and how can we be Texas A&M football at the highest level for this opponent this week. That's really my mindset. Like I just want to win, and I hate losing. So I to stay grounded. I don't think about the outside things aside from playing football and getting the win. All the extra things are going to come with it, and that's really how I think about it.
No, well said. Coach Reed, let me ask you, because when I think about the success that you had as a coach, but not only that success, the success as a player, as an All-American. Your dad was an All-American, played in the league with my beloved then Washington Redskins, now Washington Commanders. He was an All-American. So you're talking about three generations of Reeds playing college football at the highest level. When you think about that with your father and now your son, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot, man. It just it's kind of overwhelming at times for me. I just kind of sit back and take a breath sometimes and think, this guy's really playing at the highest level. The SEC is probably the highest level of college football that you can play. But not, that was a goal of his. He wanted to play quarterback in the SEC. There were a lot of schools out there calling what he wanted to play in the SEC because he wanted to compete at the highest level. And, he wanted to put his skill set to the test. And I think that he's done a really good job of just putting in the work, not only, the things that you don't see off the field are really, really encouraging to see from a young guy like that, the way he works. And then, you got to do it in the classroom too. So he's juggling a lot of things right now. Time management is really important for the things that he has to do. A lot of you guys are pulling at him right now. He has to manage all of that. But the thing is, I saw it. I was looking on Instagram yesterday it popped up on my phone, Instagram Live, and he was out at an elementary school playing with kids or something. So, it's those kind of things that kind of bring me joy to know that, he does. We've always taught him, you know better than anybody else. Always treat people the same, treat people like you want to be treated. And, good things will happen. So I'm just really excited for him, man. And happy that he's having the success that he's having. And, hopefully we finish in November. He'll probably tell you, man, he gets so many Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan inboxes from me just on them talking about being a leader, competition. I sent him one from Coach Saban the other day. He was talking about, what it takes to be a leader. And those are things that I think you got to constantly remind kids because, where he is right now and all the things that happen, and you got to make sure that your circle is right, that you're doing the right things, and everything that you do is under a microscope. I don't care, whether he goes out, and hangs out at a place or, you're out to eat, you people notice you and you got to have your best foot forward at all times.
No question about it. Coach Rod Reed, Marcel Reed, joining us for a couple of more moments here on the program. For you, and he mentioned it, Marcel, your dad, Coach Reed, mentioned the fact that you wanted to play at an SEC school, but you grew up, in essence, on the campus, of Tennessee State. Can you kind of speak to that? Maybe some memories you have, being around Tennessee State, how that helped to shape who you are in your football career?
Yeah, I talk about it all the time when people ask about my dad being a coach. I think just I've grown so much around the environment of football and how things go, how the process is, no matter the level. I think it was just being around those players, being around the locker room. I think a memory I have that my dad talks about sometimes is I felt like I knew I was going to be a good player in any position when I was 6 years old catching punts from one of his punters from Australia, and I was wearing a boot. I shouldn't have been running around, but I was. Yeah, I was catching like real live college punts at 6 years old, so I felt like I had some good hand-eye coordination around that time.
And then also for you, Marcel. Now, again, in watching your dad's Facebook page and so forth, and kind of keeping up with that when you were coming through high school, you were a good a really good basketball player too. Like you really had to make a choice between playing football and basketball. So what led you to ultimately play football?
I think it was just the team aspect of football, and then kind of the atmosphere. You see where I play it now in college. I'm at Kyle Field, the greatest field in college football. Like just being able to play in environments like that, I think is really special. Basketball, obviously, you have March Madness and you play in good environments then, but you got to make it there in March. And then for football in the SEC, it's here every week. So you get different environments from different places, and I just love playing in all these different places, and being a part of a team that can go anywhere and win games, like you saw last week in Baton Rouge.
Last two thoughts for each of you. We really appreciate the time, Coach Reed. What's and as you follow Marcel's career, all of your children, as a matter of fact, and your daughter you mentioned specifically, are you gonna get back into coaching, man? What's happening there? Do you miss the game? Do you miss coaching?
I do. I'm enjoying the ride right now, man. I'm really enjoying supporting Marcel right now. There's been a couple opportunities that have come down the pike that I just I couldn't give my full attention to it with what he's doing right now. But if the right opportunity came along, who knows? I think he's in a position now where he's kind of settled and he set himself. And I don't have to worry as much as I did the first couple of years, him being away from home and understanding how to navigate, life in the SEC at a big-time college program like that. So who knows? If somebody's out there looking for a good head coach, maybe they'll give me a call.
No doubt. I mean, shoot, look, I gotta say, leading Tennessee State to an at-large berth and winning a game. By the way, going back several years ago, I mean, that's a big-time accomplishment, particularly in a very tough OVC. For you, Marcel, off week, right? So what is an off week like for you now? Do you kind of get to catch your breath a little bit, maybe catch up on some stuff? You're watching some college football. You're trying to see what some of your competition is doing. What's an off week like for you?
Yeah. Today I'm about to head up to the facility, go to the training room, just kind of get a little bit more treatment. But yeah, this whole week we've had practice, and it's kind of been good on good, just but a little bit less periods, kind of to take some blows off the body, make sure everybody's healthy for the next week. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm right before next Saturday. Tomorrow I'll be headed to Houston for a public signing with some of my teammates, and then I'll be right back on Sunday, getting ready for Missouri.
No doubt about it. Well, father and son tandem joining us here on the program. Coach Rod Reed, of course, Marcel Reed, quarterback for Texas A&M. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Yeah, I got the gear on. I am doing the pose right now, as a matter of fact, because like I said, I was talking about him a couple of weeks ago as a Heisman candidate, and he continues to rise. Again, Marcel Reed, Coach Reed, joining us here on the program. Gentlemen, really appreciate the time. Continued success to the both of you.
Sir,
Thank you, man.